So in terms of quarterback, at least, if you are a Jackson or a Burrow manager, my favorite would probably be Daniel Jones. And, I'm just ready to get hurt again with Daniel Jones, which is sad. But of course, the week that all of the fantasy community, it wasn't just me, like I was on an island, everyone went all in on Daniel Jones. And of course, he just implodes against the Seahawks. Should have been a good matchup. Finishes the QB 25, his worst finish of the season. They didn't add any receivers, which stinks for him. So he's going to have to stick with Richie James and Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton. What a star-studded receiving core. But he will be well rested coming off of the bye to face the Texans, who entered the week ranked 30th in defensive DVOA. He is averaging 45 rushing yards per game. So I think he's a viable fill-in, and potentially with the Lions in week 11 too, he could be more of a 2-week type fill-in if you are streaming guys. Jared Goff also sort of attractive. The Bears defense is just looking like a team that you can stream against. He is 49% rostered. He was okay this week against the Packers, but they of course, you're going to run the ball against the Packers a lot more than pass it because they just have a terrible run defense. So I think that he could be interesting. And the last one that I'll mention is Jimmy G. Coming off the bye, he's 39% roster. He has not broken 20 fantasy points, which is kind of like the magic number for quarterbacks, but he's been really consistent. He has at least 17 fantasy points in 5 of 7 games he's played this year. So he offers you a pretty high floor, and he's got the Chargers and Cardinals next. So I think he'll be definitely a viable option, especially with CMC on the team, who kind of fits with that like dump off type pass that Jimmy Garoppolo likes.
Yeah, Andy Dalton's later on this list. We could have put him in the watch the Saints-Ravens game to see how you feel about him, because this is a tough defense he's facing. He has not historically done great in prime time, including a couple weeks ago, Thursday night at Arizona. But they're at Pittsburgh next week, which is a better matchup for him. So he could be added. That makes, I like Daniel Jones though too. If I needed to pick someone off the waiver wire, I would not hesitate to add Daniel Jones. Big dilemma is going to be, I have a league where I have Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones together, and I don't know.
God.
It's actually
what
a
an
decision
indictment
to make
on Russell Wilson that's the decision that we have to make.
It's too bad I didn't add Justin Fields sooner in that league. He's not on this list for the first time in like 4 weeks.
Because he's like 70% rostered now.
I know. There's still time for some late comers, but he will, all of a sudden you're going to have to pay for him.
Look, I have been on the Justin Fields hype train forever. So I'm just happy to see him succeed finally. And Chase Claypool didn't really make an impact in this game, but I think the addition will help. It's he was just traded. So hopefully that'll be a nice sort of addition for him. But we're seeing life from Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet, which is really nice. So at least those guys maybe will end up being fantasy relevant, just 10 weeks too late. But as far as other quarterbacks, I just want to say I was on the Fantasy Pros podcast this morning, and someone was trying to sell me on Kenny Pickett. What do you think of him? He's 7% rostered, and their argument was that it's an unfair sample that they sent him out there against the Bills and the Eagles in his first couple starts.
I think in real life we can't make up our mind on Kenny Pickett yet, but I just don't know how you can have confidence in the Steelers offense in general for fantasy. So maybe if you're desperate, they're going to be hosting the Saints next week, and they'll have had time to sort of retool and decide what they want their offense to look like going forward. But if you don't want Najee Harris, if you don't want, if you can't trust Deontay Johnson, then it's hard to all of a sudden think Kenny Pickett's a savior for fantasy too.